Alright, we're back on the top side of this thing. Yesterday when I was repinning the wire for the TCM for the 80 swap, noticed a wire coming out of the PCM and going into the cab. And at first I thought it was probably, well, electric fans was one of my first thoughts, but you know, these trucks had them from the factory with electric fans. So it's coming out of this connector, this blue wire right here. And I thought maybe it was the trigger wire from the fuel pump to a set of relays for the fuel pump. And I followed it in the truck, and it goes to some gauges or something. It has two boost cages, and I think it has an AEM boost controller and a boost gauge and something else. I hadn't figured out what it is yet, but anyway, while looking under the dash, I found the relays where they had two 40-amp relays, and they used them to bypass the fuel pump control module. And I guess, like I say, I haven't really dug into it yet. I just found all this last night, and you know, knew that was my fuel delivery issue right off the bat, because this is the positive leg that goes to the relay that they had under there. And why they didn't put the relays out here, I don't know. They put them under the dash by the OBD2 connector, and everything was just stuffed under the dash, and none of the wires were trimmed to length and crimped properly. They had way too large of a wire, too big of a gauge wire, crimped with a blue butt connector. And of course it wasn't a good crimp, because the wires were too big for the connector. They just stuck some electrical tape around it. And you know, my buddy, after I was telling him what all I found, he said that one time he was driving it and the truck just shut off. Well, if those relays lost power, the fuel pump lost power, and the truck shut off. So like I say, this is they use this speaker wire. This is going to the dual electric fans on the transmission cooler that's under the bed. And they got the ground right here. And then, I don't know how they got this attached. But this was going to one side of the relays under the dash. And then this was the connection that they had going to the, what is it, pin 30 on the relays. You can see the heat in that connector from the poor crimp. And I mean, this is not a big enough wire. And then plus you add the resistance from the length of the wire. I mean, these wires were just wadded up under the dash. I'm still trying to unpack what all this crap goes to. It's just an absolute mess. Instead of using the factory manifold on this side, which works perfect, this is some kind of junk tubular header thing. It doesn't look like it fits that well in my opinion, but I'm not touching that. It does have head studs, probably the China ones. They did something here, I guess the elbow wasn't long enough, so they had to put a coupler with a piece of metal to an elbow. When I had it off I had to get the fans out to get my impact to get the crank bolt out. And then the not straight cut ends, no bead rolled lip or anything to hold this stuff together. Just garbage. The 01 map, you can see, just is not tight. The two-step thing they got on there isn't even hooked up. He bought this turbo, Verin. He told him what he was doing is just a VS 7875. I It looks like, yeah, it's a billet wheel. And it's got the 96 AR since it's a 4.8. I don't know if they built this downpipe or what, but they also put in the wastegate. You can see the wastegate right here. This looks like the eBay or Amazon T4 truck log, which I've used several times. I always poured them, clean them up, fix the castings and such. And they put the wastegate right here, which I always run it down in the crossover where everybody says it's gonna creep and doesn't work, and I don't have any issues. I don't know why, but you can come down here, you can see that. See how they did that, I don't know. And then they dumped they'd put their dump right there, so I mean it's blowing on wires, and somehow I think it actually burned up a brake line, messed up a brake line. I'm not sure if it was due to the piping or what, but who knows what's hiding under that heat wrap, right? Just beautiful. They extended the drain to the AC to go around it. Beautiful build. And then we'll go to the inside and show these relays off. How awesome they are. So I don't know what this thing is on the OBD2. I don't know what a lot of this stuff is, to be honest with you. But here's you can see, look at this. So this one right here, they twisted these together, and that was going to that yellow connector that was hot, you know, obviously because of poor connection. I don't know what's in my trigger yet. But I mean, I think that's the wire to the fuel pump, I'm pretty sure. I mean, not a very big gauge wire, 14 gauge it says right on the wire, 14 gauge wire, and it's very, very long wire too. You can see, oh, this is just balled up in there. So that's what I'll be working on, the drive shaft, the two-piece drive shaft cross member next, trying to get it made, and then sorting this out, figuring out what all this is. We'll be removing the shifter that's actually going in my truck, and then they've got a rat's nest in there. So that brown wire was going to those relays as well. And like I say, I haven't unpacked all of it yet to see what it all goes to, but it's a mess. Oh, there's a bare blue wire right there. Perfect. That's what you want. There's I guess they put that console in there. And then like I say, you can see where they cut a thing out for the shifter. And then they put these seats in the back. I think these are front seats. And then, you know, my favorite thing, and what they call it these days, music. It's the first thing I take out. Weight, and not into all that crap. And then they put I mean, how's somebody gonna ride back here? I mean, my kids couldn't even fit back here. But he's gonna take all that out, fix that, get that taken care of. And I'll bolt the cab back on for him so it doesn't fall off when he's going down the road. But this that just turned into a lot more than I was expecting. I mean I know it was bad, you know, don't get me wrong, but you know, to find that, I was like, yeah, that's definitely the problem, and now more work for me. So Anyway, I gotta get to work.